men's football used to dominate women's football. It still does, because it's got more rooted history. People genuinely watch men's.
Maybe.
Right.
Because they value men more than women and give them the opportunity more than women, and also invest in soccer and football or soccer men more than women.
You mean
That's
the FIFA?
why. If you encourage or motivate something, of course, that will progress and go higher.
You mean the FIFA, yeah?
Yes, of course, the FIFA, and also Afghanistan here in Australia. For example, Women's World Cup, held here. And, you're witness, and we're all witness, and how powerful it was.
It was great.
It was good.
It was great.
And also we can say nowadays that women's soccer in Australia is higher than men.
You mean national or
yes, of
club?
course, national, of course,
national. Yeah.
And that's impacting and affecting on the grassroots, and also it will progress and it will, rise something inside women, and they think that they are powerful because they're looking at Sam Kerr and the Australian women's national team, and they will think, why not me? I can be Sam Kerr in next years.
Well, to be fair, I think what you said is right. Men's football is generally more funded, but that's because I think they could fund both, but they wouldn't do it.
No.
They wouldn't do it. Part of it is because I think men's football, for me, is more enjoyable to watch. I've seen women's football. It's fun. But for men, it's more aggressive because women physically can't get as aggressive as men, right? Their bodies just don't allow it. With that being said, I've watched...
I accept this. So what is your perspective from this World Cup?
It's amazing.
Did you enjoy?
Yeah, of course.
Then let's talk about it.
It's great.
Let's talk about it.
I think the Australian World Cup, New Zealand, was a big success for women's football.
Yes, of course.
Because if you compare it to other World Cups and other competitions, women's football picked up in the last 3 years. Before the last 3 years, no one really cared.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't really funded. It wasn't really cared for by FIFA, nor the people. You wouldn't really see much of women's football unless it's bloopers or when a player makes a big fuck up and people start laughing at it because women's football, men's football, you got it. FIFA actually embraced that. They're like, okay, cool. We're gonna stop comparing men's football to women's football, and that's the thing they did right.
We have to enjoy from both sides.
Exactly.
We have to enjoy from both games.
That's the thing that they did right.
Yeah.
You can't compare this to that.
Yes,
it's different. Men work differently. They operate differently. Women operate differently. So they're basically different sports. Let's be real. It's essentially football, right? But they're different. And that's why they did right. They looked at it from that perspective. Okay. And so how can we treat football for women's differently, and how can we make it its own branch? And they thought about a country that's progressing. I mean, Australia is progressing when it comes to women movements and whatnot, and it's a perfect spot for that, right? Australia love their football, let's be real. They love their sports, not just soccer. They love, footy. They love their, what's it called? The cricket. They love the tennis.
Yes.
So any sport that could be funded well in this country is going to thrive.
Yeah.
And we know that Australian women's team is just a banging team. Everyone loves the Matildas.
Yes.
Right? Australia get behind their women easy. And so part of why it worked is because people were emotionally connected to the sport. If you do the World Cup, say in Spain or in Europe, I don't think it would have worked as much as it did.